Episode 127 of Australia's #1 marketing show. This time, I have a fireside chat with Chris Savage of the video marketing powerhouse, Wistia.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day everyone, and welcome back to another ravishing episode of Australia's #1 marketing show. I am your host, Timbo Reid. You right there are a motivated small business owner, and we are brought to you by the very good folk at Net Registry who get your business sorted online. And I also a very special welcome to the Flying Solo community. Now, big episode today, so I'm glad you're all here joining me at Small Business Big Marketing HQ because we've got a lot to cover. It's one of those shows where you're going to need the pen and paper at the ready because there's lots of marketing gold to learn. You know how some episodes are full of, like I might interrogate a business owner who's really just been a great success, often because of their marketing. Other times I interrogate a service provider to small businesses that has got a great service that I think we should all know about. Well, today it's a bit of a mix. Today I interview Chris Savage from a company called Wistia, wistia.com. And I love Chris's brand. I love the brand that he's created, and I love the service that he offers. So bit of a, we get two for the price of one today. A little bit more on that in a minute. Guys, I just want to direct your attention to the very good folk at Net Registry who really do get your online marketing sorted. And if it's not, then it should be, because you are who Google says you are. Remember that. And I'll draw your attention to their startup package. It's $80. It's $80. You get a domain name for 2 years. You get business and cloud web hosting. They're the guys who host my website at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. You get a DIY site builder for a year. You get a go live submission, which means it's quicker you get quicker indexing in the search engines, and you get a 30-minute consultation with an online marketing consultant. They're local. They're in Australia. That is Net Registry. That's an $80 startup package. Tell them Timbo sent you. They'll love you forever. Now, also, after my interview with Chris Savage of Wistia, I'm going to tell you about a little product offering that I've got that will help grow your business through some smart marketing. And I'm going to lift the lid on some upcoming guests, which I'm very excited about. In fact, I'm going to put an episode out pretty quickly, almost straight away after this episode, because I just interviewed this guy who's trying to get a date with a very, very famous person, all in the spirit of charity. And he's doing it very cleverly via some smart marketing. I'll talk about that after this chat with Chris Savage. As I said, he owns a company called Wistia. Wistia is smart and simple video hosting, and it's a brilliant product, and it's a brand that's come out of nowhere and I think is put together beautifully. I started off by asking Chris, did video really kill the radio star? Chris Savage, founder of Wistia, welcome to Small Business Big Marketing.
Thank you for having me, Tim.
Chris, let's start with the big question. Did video kill the radio star?
I think it killed the old school radio star, but it doesn't seem to have killed Pandora or Rdio or Spotify yet.
Pandora, Rdio, Spotify. You Americans, you come out with these. I know what Spotify is. Spotify, the internet's just made it to Australia. And
cool.
Spotify we know. Rdio, what's that?
What is Rdio?
Yeah.
It's a streaming music service where you can have a little bit more control over, what songs, albums, artists you want to listen to.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So radio has changed. Hey, I wanted to split this conversation up, Chris, into two aspects. Video marketing, because it's hot on everyone's lips. I've just interviewed Joe Polizzi, who's the founder of the Content Marketing Institute. I've had Jules Watkins on, who's created some great training using creating video from iPhone. We've done some of that, but I want to have that discussion around video marketing. And then I want to find out how Wistia can help us non-technical small business owners, all right?
Yep, sounds good to me.
So video marketing, I have had a really good look through the Wistia website, wistia.com, and you guys are pretty passionate about video marketing. I mean, we'll talk what Wistia does shortly, but you got some pretty cool videos up there. You've got some training videos around video marketing. Is it for everyone?
Yes. I mean, I don't know that it's for everyone yet. I think you need to figure out and kind of dip your toe into video. It's a little bit scary to start with video because, how are you going to make it? Who's going to be on camera? How are you going to write a script? There's like a lot of stuff there. But every business that I've seen that has invested in video has done better for it.
In what way?
I mean, video is the most emotional medium, and it replaces interactions that used to be just a normal part of business. So, before websites really took off in the 90s, and before everyone relied on like frictionless e-commerce, you had a relationship with every single person that you bought something from. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you were ordering from like a magazine and talking to someone on the phone, or going into your favorite coffee shop, or going into your favorite clothing store or whatever, but you had a relationship with somebody, and that relationship kind of disappeared from websites. And what I've found is that video is one of the only ways that you can kind of bring some of that relationship back.
You make a really good point. And one of the things that I talk about when I give a small business marketing keynote is there's a wonderful quote from an old 1950s advertising guy, right? And it says, advertising is what you do when you can't go and see someone, right?
Yeah.
And like video has all of a sudden, I reckon, hit those straps. I've got a colleague of mine who sends personalised videos, literally comes back from a meeting and then he might even sit in front of his iPad or his MacBook in the car, or at the most when he gets back to the office, and whips out a 2-minute video saying, thanks, here's what we covered, here's the action points, look forward to hearing from you, and whips that back within the hour. That's personal.
It is. It really, really, really is. And so I think for that reason, just so many different types of businesses can benefit. I think the hard thing is, figuring out what kind of content to make, figuring out how to tell your story in a way that's actually interesting to the viewer. And honestly, a couple of years ago, I thought that the secret to video was make one video that explains what your company does and you're in good shape.
Yeah.
And now I've learned that the key really is figuring out ways that you can make video in an ongoing way, that can teach about the things around what you do, or, show examples of customers coming into your store and just how happy they are, recipes behind the things that you're making, or even things that you're not making. And it's all this associated content that you would show a friend, that you would tell your favorite customer, that you would really, it's like amazing relationship building stuff. And that actually turns out that, if you make videos in those ways, you can benefit enormously from them. Mm-hmm. But so the companies that figure out how to do that, the businesses that figure out how to do that, really are the ones that I see thriving.
Let's go one for one. Certainly for me, having that, what I call the video business card, and I'm a service provider. I know there's a lot of service providers listening. I know there's also a lot of product-based businesses listening. But, for me, having a video business card, having that kind of that hero video has been very valuable to me. I call it a video business card. It's me in action. It's me talking to camera. It's testimonials of clients and listeners, etc. And that's been great. But if I was to stop there, you'd certainly be selling yourself short. So that's a good place to start. What are some other ways of a small business, a vet, an accountant, a masseur, a builder, utilizing video?
I think the first thing is the fundamental explanation of why you're different and what you do. I think you're right on with the video business card. That's an amazing way to start. I think the next thing is showing testimonials of people who actually, are your clients. It's showing to take the builder example, it's like showing the happy client walking into the space that you just finished, or it's showing just the happy testimonials.
They're hard to get. I did a speaking tour in November last year, and I'm still waiting on a testimonial from this client who I know is incredibly, incredibly happy with the outcome. But getting them to sit down, particularly video testimonial, I mean, there's some hurdles there for them to get over, technical, look to the camera, what do I say type stuff. But gee, those testimonials are hard to get.
They are hard. I mean, I really suggest that people try to capture, like, it's more important to capture the content than it is to get the production quality right. And then it is to, work with a professional videographer. Like, if you just get some of them, then they feel real and gritty. That's way better than not having them.
Yeah.
And that's even better than having an overproduced one that feels ungenuine.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Particularly testimonials. I think sometimes well-produced video, there's an absolute role for it. And the Wistia videos, you kind of walk that line, like gritty, but, there's good quality, high standard of production. Whereas testimonials, I think you can absolutely excuse production values on testimonials as long as you can hear what they're saying.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think.
Go on.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Other types of video.
I would say teaching people things around your business, not even necessarily about your business, but if you're the masseuse, and you make videos where you teach people how to do different, upper arm massage, back massage, what have you, that's the kind of thing you don't have to wait on somebody else to help be a part of that video. And you can build authority and trust by being on camera and being, what happens with most of these things where you teach someone to do something is it's pretty hard.
Yep.
And it's really hard to get it right. And so it's becomes easier. You kind of understand, well, if I'm trying to do this massage with my husband, it's not really working, blah, blah, blah. Might as well just book him an appointment with this person who I already know can do it.
Yep.
And so I those are the areas I like to focus on the most. I mean, I think one step farther out is just anytime that as a part of your business, you feel like you're building a relationship with somebody, helping people pick books in a bookstore that they're going to like, or anything like the specials that you have at your restaurant. Mm-hmm. A lot of those things, you can just whip out a quick video about those things. Totally. And makes a huge difference.
And this plays into this concept I talk about of the content radar. Have it on. We are surrounded. We small business owners are creating content every day. And, as you say, the specials on the menu, a customer ringing you or coming into the store and saying, geez, I loved what you did the other day. He's like, hold that thought. I'm just getting my iPhone, and it's a bit of a mindset change. You've got to kind of get the confidence to do it, but it is possible. And we are surrounded by content that sometimes we even undervalue. We think no one would want to watch that.
I think that is the biggest problem that people run into is undervaluing their own content, because they think that they have to be the expert at something when actually all you need to be is the expert at yourself. And then someone else can decide, how their experience compares to yours. So if you teach something and you're like, this is how I do it, I think it's really great, but I'm not sure. And someone watches that and they're like, oh, I do that really differently. They miss that part that I'm really good at. But the last piece of what they're talking about, that never would have occurred to me. And that was super useful.
Yeah, totally. Now, okay, there's some ideas to go create video for small business owners. We've had Jules Watkins on, who talked about some training that he has created, which shows people how to use their iPhone to create video. I know you've got some points of view. There's some training on your website. What do you reckon's the easiest setup for a small business owner to have to launch into video marketing? And I'm talking technology here.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing is using a smartphone that you already have. Mm-hmm. And it's not using lights. It's getting people near a window, if you're inside, or it's doing it outside. And it's just starting with only that. Mm-hmm. And the next level up is, we have a video and recommendations for $100 lighting kit that you can go get, that you could set up in your shop in the back. And whenever someone comes in, if you want to shoot that, testimonial with them or whatever, you're kind of ready to go. But I really just think that, kind of combining what you were just talking about and kind of keeping your content radar open with having a content machine in your pocket is probably the best way to go. Yeah.
Sounds important. I think, I do think we will excuse a grainy looking, poorly lit picture, but if you can't hear it, I'm guessing, and with Wistia's tracking abilities, I'm guessing people will turn off pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you making sure that the sound is good enough to hear is a great start. Going and getting just a couple basic microphones. And, I always tell people check on Amazon for what's in your price range. Because everyone tends to have a different expectation as to what they're looking for, but that'll make a difference for sure. Absolutely. But, once you get a video and you can kind of see how it's performing, then you can start to say like, all right, I've got the video, the content's good, but people can't hear it. Okay, I need to get a new microphone. Or I made a video, everyone can hear it, the content's terrible, let's try something else.
Yep. Yeah. And I think too, one of the things I know, in fact, doing this interview, I have 2 offices, which is incredibly unproductive, Chris. So I'm a poor role model, but my microphone was up in my other office to do this interview. So I had to scoot up there and get it and come back and set up here, which doesn't take a lot of time because my offices are literally like 500 meters apart. However, one of the things that I notice with people who are knocking out video consistently is they have a wonderful flow. They can literally walk into their office, their studio, their room in their house, wherever they are, and hit the red button and start recording.
Yep.
And I think if you can get to that point, then that is a massive hurdle to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. If you can get to that point, you suddenly things that you would never have dreamed of doing before, you're willing to do because there's no setup.
Correct. Hey, it's a bit of I haven't asked about this question, but any examples of small businesses come to mind in your kind of local area or that you've come across now that you've founded Wistia that are really just cranking out great video marketing?
Yeah, there's a company. So this is not a brick and mortar business, but a small company called Wine Folly.
Folly.
Yep, winefolly.com. I've been really impressed with the content that they're putting out. It's a nice mix of video and text and lots of other things, but their stuff is not super highly produced, but they kind of have found a rhythm that is engaging and exciting and you can learn from. And, I think that's a really good example. I think if you've ever looked, I guess these guys are like 120 people or something right now. So they're a little bit bigger, but when they were 15 people, they started doing this, which was SEO Moz.
Oh, yeah.
If you know them, they do this thing called Whiteboard Fridays. And basically every Friday they put out a video and they've set up their studio so it's ready to go. They have their lighting all up, set up in front of a whiteboard, and they just get in front of that whiteboard and they shoot, and they don't even edit the videos that they're making. They just do enough takes until they get it right. And it'll be like 3 to 5 to 7 minute video where they teach somebody something. And I think those are both like phenomenal examples. I'm trying to think of some super.
The whiteboard's a great example because all of a sudden you've introduced another element that you can lean on. I don't mean physically lean on, but like mentally refer to. So if you're feeling uncomfortable with the camera, you can defer to the whiteboard, do some scribbles, look smart.
Yes, totally.
Do a Venn diagram. Always works. You know what I love? You've just quoted examples, both of which are online. Now, my listeners are going to go, yeah, but they're online businesses. But I go back to my listeners and say, you know what? This is the bar is still low. Your competitors, if you do have a bricks and mortar business, if you don't have an online business, your competitors aren't doing video yet. So therein lies the opportunity.
That's exactly it. I mean, if someone's trying to decide, do they want to go to one masseuse or another? They're trying to decide even what restaurant to go to or what coffee shop in a new neighborhood or whatever. And it's all about trust and expectations. Like no one wants to waste their time. Like no one wants to spend money at the wrong place. Everyone wants to have the best experience they can. And I think part of that is like, it's harder to hide blemishes on video, you know?
Yep, totally. Exciting stuff. So, okay, hopefully by now we have convinced, if I haven't already with previous episodes, convinced my listeners that video is a reasonably good idea to add to your marketing strategy. How does Wistia help that? Well, let's talk about that. So first of all, where did the name and the idea for Wistia come from, Chris?
So the name is from Wist, which is archaic English for knowledge. We added the IA to make it unique. And then we wanted something that if you search for it in Google would be the only thing that showed up. And we also wanted something that didn't have video in the name because we thought this video thing might not work. Maybe we'll have to do something else. Like we might as well have a name that could be anything. So that's where it came from. And I started it with my co-founder, who's like my best friend from college. And basically we both worked kind of in the film world from different angles. I was working in the film world. He was working in the computer science world, but he worked with me on a lot of projects. And saw an opportunity to initially try to help filmmakers with video. And that's kind of where we got started. But that didn't work. And where we made money was helping businesses.
Right. So initially, were you literally like a production house?
We were not a production house. We initially were trying to make a competition website where we would connect filmmakers with big brands. And so it would be like, oh, Coke wants to run a competition. Whoever wins it by making the best commercial, Coke will take their commercial and air it all over the place. And then the idea was if you won, the benefits of winning that competition would be greater than the benefits of winning a film festival. But we were 22 at the time, didn't have any connections to pull that off. And so it evolved into something that was more of a portfolio website for artists, if you will. And that whole time we were becoming experts in video, and businesses just kept reaching out. And eventually we said, we should really talk to these guys. And it kind of, once we did that, things connected and it really grew from there.
Okay. So what is Wistia now?
Now I would describe us as a set of tools that really just try to make it easier for businesses to benefit from marketing videos.
A set of tools for businesses to benefit from marketing videos. Okay. On your website, I like your description. You've got smart and simple video hosting. So essentially, at its core, Wistia is a place to host your videos.
Yeah, basically we try to make it really easy to add video to your website, control and customize the whole experience around the video. What does the player look like? What happens when people finish watching a video? You can add a call to action, which is helpful because that someone just made it through a minute-long video about why, some recent recipe that you made or what have you. Now send them to book a reservation with your restaurant, or have them sign up for your email list, or whatever action is you want them to take. You can.
How does that? That's interesting because so at the end of a Wistia video, you can embed a registration form that links into your Aweber or your MailChimp or whatever account autoresponder service you're using. So you've got that. Is there other? Can I hit a link and the phone starts ringing, or is it simply the ability to input your email address?
No, you can add a link to anything. So anything you want to add, you can do. And the reason we did that is because we found that people were watching videos all the way through, and then those people who did watch the videos all the way through are probably your most valuable visitors on your website. And then they're left with a black box. So what should they do next? And we found that you gain momentum. Most people, don't watch videos all the way through. It's really hard to make great videos. And so if you have someone who does get there, you want them to take the next action. They've kind of built momentum. And so signing up for the email list, clicking a link to buy something, following you on Twitter, whatever the action is that you think is good for your business
It's the biggest mistake I see in so many small businesses that launch into video is like the call to action. Even in marketing generally, like we do something and that call to action is almost like an afterthought, but like, why are you doing it in the first place? Do you want someone to sign up? Do you want someone to buy? Do you want someone to call? What do you want people to do? Don't hide away from it, So, okay. So Wistia, I'm going to get to the elephant in the room, which you probably know what it is. It's YouTube, that little site thing, because I want to understand the difference. And I'm sure my listeners are going, what's the difference? But so far we've got a pretty elegant looking player, like it's beautiful. You can have it as simplistic as you like. It's there's no branding on it. You've got the ability to add calls to action. You've got amazing analytics. You can literally, by viewer, see who is watching, how long did they watch, where did they pause, where did they stop, where did they rewind, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where did they come from? Which YouTube does a little bit of that. I'm not sure at how granular they get. What else does Wistia do, Chris?
I mean, basically let you benefit from your own video. Obviously, like the YouTube business model is they're going to make money by distracting your viewers, and they're going to lose money if people go back to your website. And so everything is set up around that. They make it hard to get people off of youtube.com. So if you're watching videos there, you tend to watch more YouTube videos, which if you're trying to get someone to take an action on your website, it's kind of the opposite that you want. Which makes sense, by the way, because YouTube is eventually, what they're doing is disrupting the whole cable industry. And eventually you're going to be able to subscribe to individual channels to them. But that aside, I mean, it's the realignment of incentives. So, we're only going to be successful if our customers are more successful with the video assets that they have, and doing it on their website with no ads, no distractions, nothing else. And so same thing, like we have SEO tools so that you can, video ranks really well in search engines because it's very information dense. It's hard to make, just like you were talking about before, like most businesses have not taken advantage of it. And so if you do, it's more rare and there's less videos. So there's less competition. And if you do that on YouTube, when that shows up in Google, it's going to be back to that YouTube page because Google as a separate entity from YouTube needs to know who the original owner of the content is. So if you embed it, they assume that you're not the original owner. They assume the YouTube page is.
Now, YouTube does bring traffic. If I've got a video on YouTube, there's no guarantees in life, but you can be pretty sure that you're going to get a head start with traffic. Whereas if I host my videos on Wistia and embed them on my site, then it's 100% up to me to drive traffic.
You mean traffic to the YouTube page?
That's how. Well, yeah, YouTube's got an audience. What if my site hasn't got an audience?
Oh, totally. I mean, I think that what I end up telling most people to do is like try it and see what happens when you get your videos on YouTube, because the thing that is going to be the major factor there is just how much of that audience are you getting? How much organic traffic are you getting? We all see viral videos that have really high view counts, but if you look at a lot of businesses that are not having viral videos, they don't have a lot of views on their videos. And the reason can be there's a lot of competition. People aren't searching for those types of things. Like even if you look at the breakdown of the types of terms that people search for on YouTube versus Google.com, it's a pretty big difference. Like most people are searching on YouTube for entertainment reasons, like 70% of the audience is searching for entertainment reasons. And on Google.com, that's something like 10%. And so the purchase intent is still on Google versus YouTube. So what I would say is like, you want people who are searching on Google, you want to make sure that they go to your website. So you have the best chance of skipping a step in the funnel and getting them to actually sign up for something. And also put it on YouTube and try to get some of that organic traffic. But have the goal be, we're going to use that YouTube page to drive traffic back to our website. So that you can have, build a long-term audience.
So if I go down the track of having my videos hosted by Wistia, what are the SEO tools that you mentioned that are going to help me get that video found on my site?
The two basic tools, one that does most of the work, which is building what's called a video sitemap. And what that does is it's like with Wistia, you can build it's an XML document that we submit to Google for you that shows where your video is embedded, a couple of key terms around the video, and a description for the video so that the crawlers have an idea of what's inside the content. The other tool is just basically making transcriptions of the videos so that you have an interactive transcription on the page or a non-interactive transcription so that, again, Google has some idea of what's happening inside the content.
What's an interactive versus non-interactive transcription?
So an interactive transcription is something that is going to follow along with the video as you play it back. So It's a widget that's right next to the video. You can search for terms. It'll show you where they show up within the video. Is that 30 seconds, 10 minutes, what have you. And basically will follow along with the video as you watch. A non-interactive is just like a text file that you add onto the page.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, at this point in time, I'm guessing you and your co-founder, what's his name?
Brandon.
A couple of very friendly geeks?
Couple friendly geeks, yeah.
Okay. So for us kind of would-be geeks, let's say for the would-be geeks.
Yeah.
How are we going to kind of find our way through all this? I'm looking at the Wistia website. It's beautifully simple. Wistia behind the scenes, when I sign up and start using it, am I going to be bamboozled by a whole lot of buttons?
No, actually.
Cool. I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, we're very proud of how simple our application is.
Yeah.
And the big thing is, even if you just upload a video and add some calls to action to it, you're going to be ahead of most of the people in the game because most people can't do that.
Correct.
If you just set the thumbnail, which is something you can do with us and control it and test it, you're going to be ahead of the game because most people don't set the thumbnail of the video. And the result is they get a much smaller percentage of their audience to click play.
That is a massive one. That is a big learning, and that is, let's define what Chris means there. So when you upload a video, if you don't tell the host, YouTube, or in this case Wistia, what image to put as the holding image, it's kind of, they're going to randomly grab something. Whereas you can upload a custom designed thumbnail that is the best image from that video with a headline describing what that video is about. Your click-through rate's going to go through the roof, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly right. And it makes a huge difference. I mean, you make a big investment in time, at least, in making a video, and you want the most people you can to see it so it can have the largest impact. So it actually, I say that it's very analogous. We call it the play rate of the video. It's very analogous to, the open rate of an email.
You're seeing a lot of analytics come through Wistia. Just going back to that video marketing discussion, what are the kind of top 5 must-dos for every video you upload? We've got call to action. We have got custom designed holding frame. Short. 1 to 2 to 3 minutes. 1 video, 1 message.
Yeah,
I'm stealing your thunder here, but I've watched all your training videos, so you must excuse me.
You're on point. Keep going. The power of video.
I'm out now. You give me 3. We'll get 7.
I would say get yourself on camera. Over and over and over, I've seen people try to make videos with actors and try to make just screencasts. And if you can just get yourself on camera for a brief moment, it makes an enormous difference in terms of the connection that people are going to have with you. I mean, you've hit a lot of the ones that I would say. I would also say it's really, the tip is the most important thing you can do is not think of it as like, I'm going to be one and done. It's like, I'm going to make a video, put it out there, get the analytics, and then iterate on it. And so that in the future, when you make more videos, you kind of close the loop of video production. And if you can close that loop, you're going to end up making much, much, much better content. And then I'd also say, teaching, focusing on making content where you teach is probably, that tends to be the best stuff, in my opinion, because if you make videos where you're teaching something, it tends to be around what you do, not necessarily exactly what you do. So that tends to be a much larger audience that you can get in front of. And if you bring them back to your site with that kind of content, you're going to be earning an enormous amount of trust, and you're going to be building a really strong relationship. And those are the things that are going to, generate word of mouth, generate signups, generate traffic.
Yeah, love that. Well, one of the things, and For me, I'm a one-man show, Chris, and my shtick is podcasting. I love the whole podcasting audio thing. It suits me. One of the things that stopped me doing video is just post-production. Like the idea of setting up the studio, talking to camera, quite excites me. But the idea of actually tripping my way through, large-sized files, editing's fun, but it's a time suck. So have you got an easy solution for transferring large files with, a proper running sheet / editor brief to a geek somewhere in the world who can do the rest?
That's a good question. It's funny. There actually used to be a couple different companies that did just that, and most of them don't do it anymore.
Oh, wow.
What I try to encourage people to do is try to hack the production and, so make your videos really short, like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and just do 10 takes until you get it right. There's a video on our website somewhere. If you could, I could find the link, but it's essentially do-it-yourself product video. And I did it with a product called Screener, which is spelled SCREENR. And basically you can't even edit with that platform. And so I got on camera, showed people, my face through the camera on my computer, walked them through some slides I set up, and then finished that thing. And I just did it 10 times till I got it right. So and because it's 30 seconds, it took me a half an hour to do.
Yeah, right.
And so I just skipped the editing phase. If you are going to edit, some of the screencasting tools like ScreenFlow and Camtasia are a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So I push people to try those.
And I guess then the next step is to get on Elance and find a video editor.
Absolutely.
It's just that those large file transfers that always. But we've got things like YouSendIt and Dropbox. It just takes time, I guess.
Yeah, you can upload those to Wistia. You can upload files up to 4 gigs and transfer them to people. And
can you?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's actually when we first got going, it was helping businesses. And then specifically it ended up being also helping video production companies for products that were still in progress, for videos that were still in progress. And I'd done a ton of editing and producing remotely. And so I'd make DVDs and send them to people. And we thought, we can just solve that problem there. So
love it. Now, Chris, pricing for Wistia. What's first 3 videos, free forever, happy days. So really, that's cheap. That's right. That's cheap right there. What's after that?
So after three for free, it's $20 a month for up to 10 videos, $40 a month for up to 20 videos, and $100 a month for 100 videos.
Sweet. Hey, now, listeners, I'm going to put a link in the show notes for this. You'll be able to, and various training videos that Chris has done. You'll be able to see his shining face in them. You're a good actor, mate. Well, you're not acting. You are being you, but you are mate. You've got a lovely face for video. There you go.
Oh, shucks.
Stop it.
Oh, you know all the right things to say.
Yeah. And you're meant to say you've got a great head for podcasting, Timbo.
Yeah, perfect podcasting voice.
Hey, I just want to finish up because it is interesting that your branding is excellent. I really love your website, the name, the way you communicate which is potential. What you're dealing with is complication. It is complicated for many people. But if you go to the Wistia website from just a pure marketing point of view, it's beautifully simple. You guys, you obviously verge on more of the creative than you are whatever the opposite of creative is. So it might have come easily to you. But you said you're proud of your brand and its simplicity. Can you give us an insight into how you got there?
Yeah. Just trying and failing. We started not like this, and I continue to look at things and think they could be more simple and more creative. And I think it's just getting in the mindset of we're never done. And I think everyone treats it like that here. We're going to have a major revision of our website in the next month, which I'm excited for. And we're just trying to make things more simple than they are in some ways and have the right balance of like depth and fun and lots of other things. So it's just trying and working. And I think also at some point, I realized that it was better to make things really simple and leave people wanting more and asking questions than to try to explain every detail. And that definitely has had a huge impact for us.
Well, I run these mastermind groups on a Tuesday with about 10 small business owners and via webinar. And I was going through with them yesterday. One of them was creating a new website. And I won't say what the business is, but it's a simple business. And the website it literally could be down to 3 primary navigation buttons. But, it's just getting more and more. And the next thing you know, there's 6 and then there's 8, 10, 10 navigation buttons. Don't need that. I look at the Wistia site, you've got learning, pricing, blog, login. Happy days,
Yeah.
And I think there's beauty in simplicity and courage, and it's not easy, but once you're there, it's not. I always come back to that principle, what's in it for me? People are interested in what's in it for me, and you deliver that. So nice work.
Thanks, man.
Chris Savage, co-founder of Wistia.com, smart and simple video hosting. Thanks so much, mate, for coming on Small Business Big Marketing and sharing the love.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Cool. See ya.
All right, take care.
Alrighty doodly. That was Chris Savage from Wistia.com. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I enjoyed putting it together. There's so much to be learnt in this big wide world of marketing, and there is a whole lot of marketing gold sitting in that interview. 3 learnings that I'm going to take from that, and I'm sure you've got your own. If you have, whack them in the show notes for episode 127 of smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. Number 1, video is important, okay? It's getting more and more important. It's getting easier and easier to do, okay? And I just think we should all be having a go at it. What I love about video, well, there's a whole lot of things I love about video, but the repurposing of video should not be underestimated. It's the richest form of media. So rip the audio from your video. Then you have audio. You have an MP3. Send that MP3 off to the transcriber. You then have a document that is searchable and indexable by Google. You could cut that video up into segments. You could cut that audio up into segments. Lots of different ways of stretching one piece of content. And because video is the richest form of content, you can do the most with it. So that's number 1 learning. Number 2, do it and don't worry about the consequences. As Chris said, and if you go and have a look at some of the videos at Wistia.com, those first few that you're going to create are going to be shockers. You're going to look back after a year of having a video marketing strategy in your business and go, oh, what about those first few? Weren't they terrible? But you know what? That's cool. I bet they did the job for you and they gave you a running start, and you improve as you go. I think I've said it before, listen to the first few episodes of Small Business Big Marketing, and I hope we've got better. I've got better. So do it. Don't worry about the consequences. Shoot your first video with the mindset that no one else is ever going to see it. Number 3 learning from that interview, that whole one message thing. Yeah, let's ram that puppy home. One message, single-minded thought. Create a video about one thing. One video about one thing. And that takes the pressure off, A, having to remember a whole lot of things, and B, it going too long, and C, you can just focus on giving that one thing all your attention. So there's 3 learnings from that interview. Hope you enjoyed it. Please get into those show notes. Stop now. Stop right now. Well, wait till I finish the episode, actually. But then go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, find episode 127 and leave a comment in the show notes. I love a bit of engagement like that. I love to hear what you're thinking. Now, said I've got a bit of a new product offering. I mentioned it last week. Small Business Big Marketing Spotlight is again open for business. It's where I put your business under my spotlight and give you some tough marketing love, right? You send me 3 pieces of your marketing collateral, like website, brochure, ad, whatever it is. I review it. I have a look at what you're doing, and then I give you my view on what I'd do if I was to market your business. I deliver it back to you as an exclusive episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show. So it sounds like you're listening to the show, except you're the only one who hears it unless you decide to share it. You can check that out at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. It's in the product section, or you can click on the banner on the right-hand side. It's called Spotlight. Upcoming episodes, guys. I'm going to put one out very shortly after this episode where this fellow John is trying to get a date with Kylie Minogue. What about that? I've been trying to get a date with Kylie Minogue for 45 years. He's doing it all in the name of charity, all in the name of raising money. He's a lovely guy, a very interesting guy, and he reveals some really personal stuff about his business and personal life journey as well. It's an interview not to be missed, and I do hope as a result of him appearing on the Small Business Big Marketing Show that he does get a date with Kylie, because I've had some fantastic things happen to guests who have appeared on this show, and there should be more of that to come. I have got Daniel from a great water brand called Thank You Water, another social enterprise. Remember we spoke to Rebecca, can't remember her surname, from Street, which is a social enterprise. Thank You Water is also a social enterprise in which Daniel sells bottled water in order to provide water facilities to third world communities. I've got Robert Gerish coming up, who is the founder of Australia's biggest community of flying soloists, of solopreneurs, and lots more, so much more in the Small Business Big Marketing can. It is exciting. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Remember, I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You are a motivated and just a little bit more informed small business owner, having listened to this episode. And we are brought to you by the very good folk at netregistry.com.au. Guys, I love your work. May you have a fantastic week. Do some great marketing. See you next time.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.